Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Playbook. I'm your host, Paul, and we're here for our fourth in-person, in-studio podcast. Very exciting. I want to start off by letting you know that we're getting some new things to go into this bare room. So sooner rather than later, this wall behind me will have some things on it. So you have that to look forward to. We're recording this on a new tripod, which I'm very happy about, but you probably don't care about. So let's get to the stuff that you do care about. You're probably wondering, who's this handsome fella across the table from me? Well, my guest today is Mr. Raymond Matos. How are you, Mr. Matos?
I'm doing great, Paul. How are you?
It'd be really weird if I started calling you Mr. Matos, wouldn't it?
That's okay. Just wing it.
All right. So, Raymond, thank you for stopping by today, my friend. I appreciate it. So, I know you pretty well, man. You're a good guy.
Yeah, I love you, Paul.
I love you too, man. But for the people out there that don't know you, who is Raymond Matos? How did you get your start in real estate, man?
So, COVID happened to me. So previously, before real estate, I was a R&D formulations chemist for one of the medical dispensaries in Florida. So I used to make all the little cartridges, all the distillate oils that went in there, and all the little R&D oddities. But when COVID came to the U.S., they laid off a bunch of the company, and I lost my position. So I had to get another job, and I tried finding something in pharma, and that was just not working.
Yeah.
Like, I went to grad school and everything. I thought, like, hey, like, this should be a shoo-in. That's not how the world works. So, and also there was a really rough time to try to find a job. Like, we're in a global pandemic. But, it had been close to a year, and I needed to do something. And I know that one of my friends, he did real estate, and I've actually known a couple realtors, but I saw him all the time, and he did real estate, and I was like, I just want to see what this is like, because I feel like I could just get my license. Like, that's something guaranteed. So what I hated was the fact that other people were determining whether or not I was getting hired somewhere.
Yeah.
And I decided to take things into my own hands. Like, all right, well, I'll hire myself. Like, I'll get this license and just do things myself, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. I shadowed his name is Q, but he became my mentor, and I shadowed him on a couple showings, and I had fun with his clients and everything. So I was like, okay, like, I could definitely do this. And I actually had gotten COVID in January of 2021.
Yeah. I'm not laughing at your pain.
I had no symptoms, so literally I was just stuck in my house. I actually spent about 4 hours a day for the entire week just driving. I just did not want to be in the house, so I would just go and
DoorDash or
drive
something,
around.
right?
Well, I can't deliver food.
That's true.
If I have to isolate, so I could only stay in my car. So I just go all the way around and everything. But during that time, I was like, this would be a great time to do my licensing course. So I signed up for that in the 1st of February of 2021, and then did my course. Had to wait for my application. So anybody new, do your application first, because that takes a while to process. So I had to wait for that, got my license, and then came here.
Beautiful.
And that's been a roller coaster since.
It surely has, man. You had me encapsulated by your tail there. I wanted to ask you this, man, because I have asked a couple other people this, and this is the point where I hesitate because it starts to turn into a recruitment sounding video. But I'm going to ask you anyway.
Yeah.
How did you hear about the brokerage?
So actually, one of my friends who is a realtor, he's no longer with us. He passed away in November of 2019.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, thank you. But he was looking at changing brokerages, and he brought up Team 54.
Oh, boy.
From back in the day. So I remember that. So when I got my license, I was thinking, Pat, his name was Pat. I was like, Pat said, this was a really great team, that he was thinking about going there. And he was a very sound dude. We got so much advice from him and everything. And he told me, if he was speaking highly of the place and he would be willing to go there, then I should try and see what they're about. And then I saw the website. I was like, oh, this looks cool. All right, let's do this. And then I actually got reached out by the system.
Oh, yeah.
They texted me, and they thought I was a lead, but I was trying to set up an appointment to come talk to somebody. But yeah, so I did that and came in, met everybody, thought everybody seemed really cool. This was in the small office. And yeah, then I decided, all right, I'll give it a go.
And here you are, man.
Yeah.
Here you are.
Absolutely.
Here we are. How long has it been now at the brokerage?
I've been here since April.
April of 21?
2021, yeah. So it's been a little like 9 months.
Yeah, coming up on a year. It's pretty soon, man.
It flew by.
It did, yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I don't know if this happens when you become an agent, but your days just get...
They turn into minutes.
Like, right now, it feels like next Thursday, but also somehow like...
Last Thursday.
Yeah, it's this weird, like, especially if you're under contract and anything, it's like, yo, it's already time to close, or like, wow, it feels like we've done so much and it's only been 3 days, you know? So that's kind of messed me up a little bit.
That would mess with me too, for sure. Yeah, I got to keep a little planner to keep track of the days, because even I can get like that sometimes.
Right.
So, my friend, to sing your praises, we had our annual awards ceremony last month.
Yes.
And you received an award.
I did.
Now, let me tell the people about this award. It's called the Jenky. You've probably heard her name come up a couple times on this podcast. Her name is Debbie Jenkins. She's one of our team leaders, just so you know the origins here. And the award basically is for the agent with the most positive attitude, someone who's a good representation of the culture, that sort of thing. Obviously, you won, right? So I wanted to ask you about that, man. Why do you think, and this is going to sound like I'm prying or like I'm questioning why you won it, but I just want to know your thoughts on it, really. Why do you think you won that, and why do you think you are that type of agent?
Well, I do wear bright colors, so I very like... You
can't see his pants right now,
yeah,
but
they're nice,
they're
nice green. But yeah, so I wear bright colors, so I'm all vibrant. I'm very obnoxious, but... I want everybody to have a fun time. So when it's super silent next door, like I have to disturb the peace and make some noise, like lift the mood. And I don't know, I just kind of, I guess it goes off of my previous working experiences. Yeah. I wanted to, if I could help make some place more fun to be, or more lively, or just make people want to be there and like promote that culture. Like, that's what I wanted to do, because previously, I've worked for places where it's been about culture, but then that is the first thing to go out the window when it comes to the people working there.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure, like, no, like this is me. This is what I would like, who I would want to work with. Like, this is how I would want to feel if, this is a culture I want to promote. So that's why I do it, and I just do it in my way, which is, making noises, being random, bothering people, screaming depending on where I am, pretty much acting like a 5-year-old.
You got it, man. Yeah. Sometimes,
you got to let it out.
Keep people on their toes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think you're a pretty positive guy, Raymond. Do you find it? Because I talked to Gio about this before too. It's a hectic career, right? I mean, you're always dealing with several types of unknowns. I mean, whether it be clients or people that you're working with. Is it hard to stay positive, or do you find it quite easy just because of the type of person you are?
So for me, I'm actually pretty neurotic.
Okay.
Yeah, based on my upbringing, like I learned to be negative. And actually I can thank Allison for this, but she's helped me like try to shift my mindset. Like, she even got me a gratitude journal, so I try to like speak gratitude into existence every day. And just like try to look at things from a positive light, because I'll tell you, when you look at things from a negative light, you are helping create your own misery. And I've been there, and it's not somewhere anybody wants to be at all.
Yeah.
So I would much rather try to do this hard work, shifting my perspective, than, focus on the negatives. Like, yes, there are going to be negative moments that are frustrating, but at the light at the end of the time, it's like, oh, this is for a reason. This is what I have to do. There's a light at the end. So, try to learn something from the experience. So, yeah, I mean, I've had, instances where, a lead has blown me off or something, but it's like, all right, well, at least I got to see what this area is like. Yeah. So now I know, like, if someone's looking for, the middle of nowhere farmland, I know that, oh, Ridge Manor's pretty cool, stuff like that. So you can always take something good from every experience because, I mean, with it's kind of, duality, but you cannot have positive without negative. So
Starting to get into my Buddhist stuff.
exactly. So I actually like a lot of like Eastern philosophies and religions and whatnot. So
I think it's the right way to be, man.
yeah.
Back to your point about the driving for 4 hours when you had COVID. It's
Man.
sometimes it's nice to just get out and do something, even if it's, not necessarily a positive.
Oh, absolutely. I like the sun. I don't like being stuck indoors,
Yeah, I hear that.
I like to be free, which is another thing I like about doing real estate is I'm pretty free.
Yeah.
But also I'm pretty free, so that means I'm in charge of myself, which, based on what I said about how I act can be problematic, but it's a process. No one's perfect.
You're here in the office a lot, man. So is Mike.
Yeah.
And he's somebody that I've done 2 of these now with, and he's always talking to me about the importance of a routine and how actually coming into the office gives him a chance to focus on what it is that he's doing, interact with staff members, other agents, that sort of thing. Do you feel the same way? Is that what kind of why you're here a lot, or?
So I'm here for trainings a lot mostly, and also as far as routine oriented, I'm all over the place. But at least if I wake up in the morning and I don't know what to do, I know that at least I can go to the office and see someone there and all right, now I can take my computer out and get more organized and, plan something or just get into that habit of going to a workplace first because I haven't done that in a while. And also seeing everybody. So it's, in this business, and this is something that I've mentioned before, but you work with people, but you don't. You're by yourself most of the time. So there's not a whole lot of times where you get to see the other people you work with, and me coming to the office allows me to do that and build those relationships with those people. For the Jenke Award, I don't think I could have won that had I not gone to the office ever. How could you help change anything if you're never present? So that's why. So I do have days where I don't come in, but I try to come in a couple times a week. And if there's a training, I always try to go to those.
I see you there every time, man. I saw you yesterday.
There's always, you can always take something from a training. It's it's something that you can do if you don't know what to do. And I'm also somebody that I need the clear direction. And since I'm not good at enforcing that myself, it's okay, I know training, at least go to this. Boom, that's an easy one. And then that will help catapult the rest of my day.
For sure.
So I'll go to the trainings, come and see people. And yeah, those trainings are immensely valuable. I've run into, not to toot my own horn, but I've run into other agents that some of the stuff that we're having issues on is so rudimentary. And it's why do I know this and I'm very new and this person's been here, because you always get told I've been in the industry for 10 plus years, but it's something simple that and we have so many different people that come and talk to us, so there's an opportunity to learn something about something at every training, because you will never know everything. You'll never know everything about this business, and because it's constantly changing, there's always something more to learn. And the more you learn, the more confident you become, and the more confident you become, the better you're gonna do.
For sure.
Because I feel a lot of people also struggle, at least I do, with imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So it's it's easy to be nervous for a showing or, nervous to take a lead because it's I don't know anything. Well, if you take the time to look at all the the videos, go to the trainings, your knowledge base will improve. And you always have people to rely on at the brokerage, but your knowledge will expand, and then you'll know how to handle these situations. You'll know how to, run a buyer consultation or a listing appointment, or, why something is this way, or why, what's the deal with solar panels on the home versus not being on the home. Just like how we had, your girlfriend's father from Tampa Bay Solar.
That's right. Ben Alexander, shout out.
Yeah, he spoke with us, but it was great. So I have a resource that if I see any sort of solar equipment on a home, I can call somebody and say, hey, what is this? And had I not gone to that training, I wouldn't have gotten it. For sure. Now, fortunately, you upload all the trainings, so anybody from anywhere can look at those trainings, which that's what I did a lot. So when I did have downtime, since I am new, I watched every single training that you posted. I've watched all the old Joe like meetings that he would do. Like some of them were like half of them are just a blank screen.
Yeah.
It's just black.
No,
I've
literally.
seen every single one. And I found those to be super helpful. So
Yeah.
like capitalize on those training opportunities. Come to the office when you can. You know, everything comes down to making time. Like there's some things you don't have time for. I understand. We have other obligations. But with some things important to you, you will make the time.
I could not agree more,
Yeah.
sir. To your point about everybody doesn't know everything.
Right.
There's never going to be a point where you do know everything in this business. You're absolutely right. And then the moment that I learned that was doing this with Chris early on this podcast. And I said something about her where I was like, well, if Chris doesn't know the answer to the question, then nobody does, kind of thing. And that's probably true for most things, right? But then she corrected me and she was kind of like, Paul, trust me, there is a lot that I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So that was, I'm not even an agent myself, and that was refreshing to hear because I'm like, it is ever changing, and that would give me confidence if I was a new agent to be like, well, you're never going to know everything.
Yeah.
So you might as well just try your best with the stuff that you do know and just keep ever changing.
Exactly. So even me, so I'm a ball of anxiety, as Allison Bresciani knows. So I'm a ball of anxiety. So it's because I don't know everything that I will freak out.
Yeah.
When it's like, oh my God, I don't know this and I have to deal with this situation. And she'll calm me down and like, normally everything's fine. I'll create problems before they exist.
Totally.
Just to try to solve them. That's what anxious people do. But yeah, just understanding like I'm not going to know everything. And that really helps also. That's what I've done because I've gotten a couple people I know to enroll in the real estate course to get their license. And that's what I tell all of them is, hey, you're trying to study for this, like you're not going to know everything. Don't try to know everything. You're going to stress yourself out. You're not going to be asked everything. Just do your best, And what you don't know, all right. So if you miss a portion or if you don't get something, like you will next time, because that's how I learned. I had to mess up so many times that I remember not to mess up again.
C'est la vie, my friend.
Yeah.
And you brought up Allison a couple times, and this is something that's interesting to me because, again, with the hesitance of sounding like a recruiting video, at the brokerage, everybody has a team lead, a group leader, whatever you want to call it, and Allison is yours, obviously. How did that impact you as a new agent, like someone totally new to the career, to have like a mentor who's directly available and, as you said, knows that you're a ball of anxiety sort of thing?
So, like I said before, I had someone that was mentoring me, but it was excellent to have another person from the brokerage that understands the brokerage's policies and procedures and has a whole different perspective. So I'm fortunate enough to have at least two people's perspectives. And when you're an agent here, you get everybody's perspective.
Yeah.
But in terms of like a mentorship, like I'm privileged to have her perspective, and that's been immensely valuable to me throughout getting started. I think that I remember the first time I went to write a mock offer. It wasn't even a real offer. I called her so many times, just freaking out, like, oh my God, like I did it wrong. Like, can you look at this, please? And then she was like, this is pretty much fine. Like like add a name or something. It was something small, but she's like, you're good. So, just having that reassurance and that knowing that at the end of the day, like if you're here, someone has your back. You're never out there alone. If I know if Allison's not available, well, I can call Mike or Chris or anybody. Yeah. I know that someone will be there to help me, and I think that has helped tremendously. And at other brokerages where you might be take on more of an independent role, you don't necessarily get that, which is why there's such a high attrition rate in this business. Because a lot of people they want to keep more of their commission, which I'm all on board.
More power to you.
But, there comes a point, it's like, okay, is it worth keeping all of this if I'm having to do all of these things myself and struggle? And yeah, can you become an excellent agent that way? Absolutely. But your rate of like learning the business and educating yourself will increase exponentially faster somewhere like here than it would if you're a solo agent anywhere else,
Yeah.
And I think that's super helpful starting out, because that helps build that confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, a lot of times, like, we know what to do, but we just don't trust ourselves. We don't trust that we know what to do. So we need that outside source to say, like, hey, is this right? So yeah, trust yourself. You'll be okay. You know, if not, we'll figure it out. So that's all. Like, that's it. If you mess up, we can fix it.
I'm going to timestamp this and send it to Allison, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, man. That's great stuff, man. I'm glad to hear that it was a smooth transition for you coming into this and that it continues to be a good resource for you, you know?
Smooth? I don't know about smooth. Yeah, because I'm my own worst enemy. So, like, I have to... That's another thing that brought me to real estate is I'm an anxious person. I didn't realize I was as socially anxious as I am, so I'm the socially anxious realtor. You know, imagine that. I've always kind of found myself in roles where it's like, I don't like this, and I'm here. Like,
doing it anyway, yeah.
There's a reason. So I've actually, and it's crazy to look back, even a couple months, but like, look a year, the amount of change that I've experienced in myself, having to push through my personal barriers. Like, I hated talking to people on the phone. Yeah. Now, I don't hate it as much. You know, I don't love it, but I don't hate it as much.
Little victories.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's growth. And like, I'm more comfortable doing that now. And like, I had to get over a lot of personal shit to be able to do it. Because if I don't, then I'm never going to get paid. And I'm not going to, you know, I'm going to be right where I started. So that's one thing I've been happy about too. And it makes it a little challenging, but I like that because I like seeing the change.
For sure.
Yeah. Think about yourself. Like, everybody's like, dude, everybody feels like they're all over the place. Even if you're organized, like, and mentally, you're like, I got this, dude. You're all over. And, you know, especially when you're busy. So no one like has it figured out. So picture now that same person buying a home and needing to get all this squared away in the market that we're in, where it's tough, you know, if you don't have a lot of money, you know. So that adds a whole nother layer of stress. So yeah, emotions are running high, and you got to smooth over some things. A lot of, like, you know, what's meant to be will be's.
Yeah.
A lot of woosah that you gotta give to your clients. But I always try to be there for them if they ever come to me with anything. Like, I remember I talked to one client and she was just upset, like, about life, like a divorce she was going through, and I was like, oh no, like, yeah, everything's fine, and just helping her with that, and like things were better afterwards. But sometimes they just need to get that out.
Yeah.
And just on a personal note, if someone needs to get something out, it is always okay to get it out to me. So, and I take that very seriously. So I definitely, like, I don't mind doing it.
I might be calling you at 3 a.m., man.
That's okay. I'll answer. Well, I'll try to answer. I'll be sleeping, but if you call me a bunch of times, I will answer.
All right.
Yeah,
sweet.
just do it more than once.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a hard pivot, but you mentioned the market in the middle of what you were talking about there. So obviously we're still in the midst of it.
Yeah.
The thick of it, as they say. How has it been affecting your business, man? Or how are you approaching it this year?
Well, aggressive offers, and that's what I'm telling everybody to do. It's still tough. You know, I have some people now that, you know, I've had buyers that have been pretty qualified. So I've had some struggles, but I've been able to do things with them and get them under contract. But I have people that, you know, are more so like the everyday home buyer that is not just sitting on a pile of cash to just buy whatever. And that's been challenging because, I mean, I'm seeing a lot more, it seems like there's more FHA buyers coming through the woodwork. And those are just been harder to get under contract. I mean, I got one under contract, but we had to make a big offer over ask and put down a ton, like, be willing to cover a pretty big gap. But, you know, it is possible. I know I just, you know, looked into more of, like, using Divvy or other programs for these people. Because it sucks when you can't help them. And, I mean, this buyer was telling me that, you know, her family and friends, they moved down here from Connecticut, and their family doesn't want to go where they live in Bradenton. They have to go all the way up to Dade City. And she's just upset because, you know, they're so far away from everybody. But, you know, we're kind of limited on what we can do, and it's just trying to find a way to help them out. But I will say, in regards to like FHA offers, I just submitted one for somebody else, and the listing agent actually wasn't taking FHA offers, but I had built a little bit of a relationship before with her, and now she's considering FHA offers. Ew. So that's a big, just because it doesn't say that there's accepting FHA, it doesn't hurt to ask. And if you can build some sort of rapport with the listing agent, like, you don't know what could happen. So, yeah. And this listing agent actually is the seller too.
Oh, you mentioned this to me the other day, I think. Yeah.
So that's been great. So I don't know if we'll get accepted or not, but she's now allowing us to submit an offer, which is cool.
So have you used that strategy in the past, whether intentionally or unintentionally, where you just developed a relationship with the listing agent, and has it helped you or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll always try to call and at least discuss offers and whatnot. I remember I talked to one listing agent. We wound up not even writing an offer on this home, but I talked to him about, all about this home and like the different improvements and the different developments that are, just random things that weren't even necessarily relating to this particular house. But those are the people that are going to advocate for you to the sellers. Yeah. Assuming there's nothing fishy with your offer, well, not fishy, but you don't have a ton of contingencies on your offer. If they feel confident, like, okay, sellers, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I spoke with this person, this is their offer. They seem legit. They're pre-approved with their preferred lender. They know that they can close this. Like, this is a great offer. Yeah. Where if you don't, like, listing agents get so many offers, like, it's just names and numbers. Right. If you can attach a person or people to those names and numbers, that can be a huge difference. And actually, a home that I'm closing on Monday, we were chosen because of how I interact. I was fortunate enough to actually get there for the showing before the sellers left, and they actually needed us to delay our showing. So it was a night showing, which I typically wouldn't be doing, but we delayed it and we were accommodating, and they wound up taking us out of everybody because they liked me, they liked the buyers, and yeah, exactly. So that's how we got that one, because they got a ton of offers. So it's definitely worth it to speak with your listing agents and not just like, hi, and then get straight to business. It's like, hey, how are you? And like genuinely ask if, have a conversation. What's an extra 15, 20 seconds, just shooting the shit back and forth before you get into whatever you need to ask.
For sure.
Always be polite. Like, I'm always polite to other agents, because you're going to see these people again if you do this long enough. And you also just want to leave a good impression.
Yeah, you don't want to develop a bad reputation.
Yeah, then you get blacklisted from places.
So let's pivot back to talking about you, man. Everybody loves it, right? So I said this to Jordan last time, and I'm starting to get more into this, which is I feel like I'm doing a job interview when I ask these questions.
Yeah.
So, and I think we talked about this earlier, but throughout your career, what would you say is your biggest strength, Raymond?
My biggest strength, I would say, I'm hard-headed and I don't like to give up. And I genuinely, at the root of everything, want to do my best, which causes a lot of anxiety when I don't feel like I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
Definitely suffer from perfectionism.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. So I guess just my willingness to show up, and I will show up and be there. And, even if I don't like it, I'll do what I need to do. And again, I don't like giving up. So at the end of last year, I wasn't closing a whole lot of deals or anything, and my funds were dwindling. And I actually asked about positions here at the brokerage. Yeah, because I needed money, and that living like that's a whole other. You want to see a dark cloud? Yeah. So, yeah, I asked about the positions, and then it was like, okay, it was looking like I was gonna have to give up being an agent to have steady income. And for one of the first times ever, I made a I didn't want to make a decision, but I had to make a decision, and I chose to bet on myself and believe that it's going to work and try. And, that was all not so long ago, and I got 3 closings. So in like a month and a half. So, that greatly helped. But like, had I not bet on myself, like if I had just took an office position, and it's not like there's anything wrong with those positions, but that's just not what I intended to do. But had I not like bet like I could make it work, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm really happy that things turned out the way they did. So, and I still got to keep going. Like, we're not out of the woods yet, but just, not wanting to give up, because that's how I looked at it, is like, it feels like I'm giving up. And I just really did not want to do that. So I would say that's one of my greatest strengths.
Well, I'm glad you stuck it out, man. You made me think of this meme, which I've referenced on here before, which is so ridiculous, but you've probably seen it, where it's like a guy and he's mining, right? And he's going through the, whatever the mine, and he gives up, but you can see right where he gave up, like if he just kept going, there's like diamonds right on the other side of it, right?
That's how a lot of things are.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of things are that people are working, because you don't see the fruits of your labor. Mm-hmm. And we're like, as a society, especially with younger people, are very instant gratification. Yeah. So not seeing those immediate results,
you get discouraged.
Yeah, you get just because you think nothing is working. But I'll say, like, I haven't picked up a lead in a little bit now, but I've had a bunch of old leads come back and like want me to help them. Yeah. So like the people that I wasn't doing anything with before, like they will come back. So, just stay in contact. Things will pay off. Even though at that time it looked like this was going nowhere, it wound up going somewhere. Exactly.
Dude, it's so funny to like doing this, which I've done, I don't know, maybe 18 of these or something like that. And like hearing so many different people at just different stages in their career saying like the same exact things. Yeah. So like your point about just sticking it out and, the fruits of your labor will appear. I've heard that from like just so many different people in different ways, shapes, and forms. So I think you're totally right. Like it's one of those careers where you just have to lay the groundwork and then eventually you'll start seeing the return.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, if you like, let's just say brand new person, don't know anybody, like you're building an entire sphere of influence, which is, that's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot. So that's not going to be done overnight. And yes, like we'll get leads from the brokerage, but if they're Zillow, they don't like, they're online leads. They don't know you. So they have to, be won over, and that's not always easy. And like, so it just takes time of you just collecting names, trying to help people. And then soon enough, like you'll get some of those people coming back, and it's like, okay, and then you got this rhythm going. And if you do well with them, then, oh, look, I got a referral. All right, now I'm going to go over here. Oh, no, you keep doing well. Oh, you got another person. And just, bigger and bigger. And also go to trainings, networking events. Like I met a title agent at some really cool place in Wesley Chapel. I don't even remember what it was called, but it was...
Were you there with like the team, or you were there by solo?
No, I was just meeting this person here.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And we went and we talked and just built a relationship, and she just invited me to a continuing education course for free. Nice. And if I need any title questions answered, like she's got my back. Any help with social media or anything that she can help with, I have that contact. And I also met a lady at one of Arlena's parties, and she invited me to a networking event. I brought one of my friends, and we went and spoke, and like that was something I'd never done before. So, doing a lot of the things that I'd never done before.
Going outside the comfort zone.
Yeah, that is very important. Yeah. That's exactly what this whole journey has been for me, is going outside my comfort zone.
It circles back to what you were saying earlier. I can't remember if this was on or off camera, but you said like just putting yourself in situations that you didn't think you would ever be in and just doing it anyway. Putting
yourself in situations that you don't want to be in. Yeah. It's easy to like, oh no, I'm not going to do this, but chances are it's going to be okay. And like, then you'll get that confidence. And then it's like, you can do it. And like, that's like when people get depressed, I mean, the world is so small. It's like, well, people close themselves in. You need to open everything back up. So do those things that you don't do anymore. You know, if you're afraid, move towards the fear. Move towards it. Because you don't want to close yourself in. You want to just be out in the world.
Right.
So, get out your comfort zone.
Some deep stuff, man. Blowing my mind a little bit right now.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just sharing. Yeah.
Let's go deeper.
Okay.
So on the flip side of the coin, obviously we talk about your strengths of being hard-headed, showing up for yourself, that sort of thing. Weaknesses, obstacles, hurdles. We all have them. We covered a few already, right?
Yeah, I'll cry sometimes.
We all gotta cry.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
We could do it right now. We can just turn the camera on for a second. No. So what would you say your biggest one is, man, or at least one you've had to face in the career?
Weaknesses. So I don't really take the time to celebrate wins when I do something well. I beat myself up a lot. I am not the most organized person. And I'm anxious, but that's evolutionarily, that's a good thing. Right. But it just sucks for the modern day. But yeah, I would say definitely those, like my organizational skills are not very good. And it's those core beliefs that, I'm not good enough, perfectionism, not celebrating those wins, those are my biggest weaknesses. And that's why I have to build my confidence to show that I'm not weak. Right. Or even if these are perceived as weaknesses, like these are opportunities to try to get better at it, Yeah, it may not be perfect, but, and actually Jordan Peterson said this, for anxiety, you don't cure anxiety, you just become more brave. Right. So you're still going to feel anxious, but it's like that willing to put your foot in the fire and go, anybody can do it. And that's how that goes away, that anxiety. So, doing it again with therapy to recondition those, retrain my mind and change my core beliefs about myself and, realize that I am not the person that maybe other people said I was, you grew up in a, household like I did, there's everything under the rug, like everything under the ceiling is said. And you begin to think negatively about yourself, and that turns into things like, procrastination and, not being oriented. Also, I think I'm a little ADHD. I had Adderall in the past, but I don't take it anymore. But yeah, so it's just really getting over those core beliefs and realizing that we're all wonderful fucking people.
We are
wonderful people. We all deserve health. We all deserve happiness. We all deserve love. We all have a right to be here. We all have a right to, go after what it is we want. And we are all worthy even when we think we're not. We carry around a lot of shame that isn't necessarily supposed to be there. Right. Guilt and shame are two different things. So with guilt, when you feel guilty, you feel bad, but you're like, I'm going to fix this. With the shame, it's I am bad. That is the core belief. So we need to get over that. I think as a society, because a lot of people struggle with things like this, and it's so crazy because we're all doing it to ourselves, and it's really having to we have to be the parent and pull ourselves through it. We might have parents, but we got to do it. We got to do the work. Yeah. So, yeah. So you took me on a journey just now. I'm a tangent man. That's a weakness, but maybe it's a strength.
It's good for a podcast,
depends
man.
It depends on how you look at it.
Something you touched on, which I'm curious about, is the organizational side of things and time management and procrastination. And you mentioned ADHD and stuff like that. I mean, even without the ADHD or whatever, I think that's something a lot of agents might struggle with, something I struggle with, not even being an agent, keeping track of the things I have to do and when I have to do them. And I don't have people calling me all day like you guys do. So What sorts of things do you do to stay on top of that?
So for appointments, I do all my appointments for like showings and whatnot through Follow Up Boss, through our CRM, or Google Invites, or I'll just create an event on my calendar. For like the little miscellaneous things, like I should write things down, but I don't. It's just kind of like all in there. I'm thinking about all the time. It would probably alleviate some of the mental strain if I wrote it down, but I've never been one to make my life easier. So, I just kind of juggle it. And but when it comes to clients, that's the stuff I schedule, or anything relating to their transaction, or if I have a training. Events that I have to be at are scheduled. Everything else, I'm kind of just keeping a mental note. And I actually do have a notepad. I will write things down, but I've found that I will write things down and not look back at them frequently.
Sometimes it helps just to get it out.
Yeah. So.
Unless you have to do it, in which case, maybe try and remember.
Yeah, I have to remind myself to organize myself.
I can relate to you so deeply in that way. Like, so much of it is up here. Yeah. And I know, like, this is something I started doing as recently as like a month ago. It's just putting the stuff that's up here in a planner or on a Google Calendar or something like that, and just getting it out. And I find that just increases my productivity like tenfold.
Yeah, because you don't have to, you only have so much mental energy throughout the day. Yeah. And when you're constantly thinking of things all the time, like trivial things, like, oh, I got to call this person, like, that's just wearing you down for the rest of the day. Yeah. So, get that out. I mean, that's a good tool for, it's just like journaling, which is a very helpful thing to do.
Just get it out.
Get it out, get it on paper.
It's good advice, man. Yeah. So talking more about you, my friend, going back, looking back to younger Raymond.
Yes.
If you could speak to a younger version of yourself, what might you do differently?
What might I do differently? So I feel like a lot, but then again, not, because I'm kind of excited to see where this will go, and I couldn't have gotten here if I didn't do what I did. But I would definitely tell my child self, again, don't take things so personally. Mm-hmm. You're a great person, and you're just a kid. Like, so you might get responsibilities put on you that aren't yours. You're just a kid. Be a kid. You're going to make it work. Make sure you do your math homework. You know how to do math homework? Just do it. I hated doing it. I just do it. Try in school. Yes, people say C's get degrees. If you want to go anywhere, that's not how that works, because C's get degrees, but when you want to go to grad school, you find out, man, I shouldn't have got those C's. So things like that. And also, my dad would chime in, save your money.
Oh, true.
Dude.
Save that.
Yeah. I blow it on so many useless things, but yes, save your money. Every little bit helps, because those times where you don't have it, you're like, wow, if I would have just saved all this money, I wouldn't be here. But then again, who knows? An asteroid could have hit and you could have died.
Exactly.
So, like it happened to the dinosaurs. So,
why are we special? Yeah. Oh my God, man. Alternatively, you had a different career before real estate, obviously, but if you hadn't chosen this, let's say like when you got laid off and you were looking for different options, what might you have chosen otherwise?
So, of course, I would, like, all of these would involve school, but I was interested in like being a doctor or a PA, physician assistant. I also liked, originally I wanted to go to school for nursing, but I don't know. So it's like, that's the weird thing with me, is like, it's so many things I could see myself doing, but like the main image and you'll see me sometimes like this, but I always picture myself as an adult, like going to work, like I'm in a suit.
Yeah.
So like, you'll see I'll wear suits sometimes just for the hell of it. Like there's no occasion. No one else is in one.
But you look good.
Yeah, well, thank you. But I do it because, like, I feel good. Like, I want to.
I'm about to, like, throw a picture on the screen or something.
Yeah, this is what yeah, this is just what I'm feeling, and this is what I pictured when it died.
And we're back.
Okay, we are back.
So you were saying about you like to wear suits because it just,
Yeah, because I mean that's what I pictured when I was younger. Like, oh yeah, wearing a suit. There's just something about wearing a suit that feels good.
Right.
And I don't know. So like I thought like when I was a kid, also I was like I want to be a stockbroker. Now like picturing myself as a stockbroker,
I can't picture you.
I would explode.
Yeah.
I would absolutely just explode. I kind of would like to see what that's like because I think it'd be cool to know all of that.
You'd be like Jonah Hill's character in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
just anxiety ridden.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good for me. But who knows what that could have done?
Who knows, man?
So yeah, I don't know, just anything. I like to dabble in a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Because I've always been like that. I remember I worked at Sam's Club for a little bit, and I was trained in every single department just because I wanted to like learn all the different aspects and be able to do anything. I remember my first job was Domino's, so when the cafe needed help, they'd have me making pizzas. If someone needed like a forklift, I could drive a forklift. If someone needed coverage on the gas station, I can go do that. A liquor store, I could do that.
You got a license for that forklift?
I don't think it's like an official one. It's one through the Walmart Sam's company.
Oh, okay.
But so just anything where I'd be okay doing anything where I felt like what I was doing mattered and felt purposeful. Some things just don't feel purposeful.
Totally.
Like one thing I was not about was for me, the pharmaceutical jobs that I was finding here were all like analytical chemistry roles. I don't want to do analytical chemistry.
I don't even know what that is.
So it's pretty much you're just running machines, doing like HPLC, GCMS, and just various other, machines that analyze whatever your chemical substance is. But like it's very valuable. Like testing is super valuable for pharmaceuticals or drugs, but to me, just like it just seems very monotonous, and I cannot do something like that. So anything with variety, I also envision like, what if it went to the police academy, became a police officer because I want to help people, and I really like sticking up for the little guy.
Yeah.
So that's where you get to do that.
That's true.
I mean that seemed meaningful to me. But yeah, anything that I could impact somebody or just share and get them to a better place or help them out. I even thought of therapists before. Of course, that would require additional training, but I was an open book. I've never been like, oh, this is the one thing. That's just a foreign concept to me.
I'm the same exact way, man.
Yep.
And people will judge you for that, I think. But it's like, why do I have to just be only passionate about one thing,
Mm-hmm. You want to know the thing that I absolutely did not want to be and hated the most? I did not want to be in sales or an entrepreneur. Yeah.
And now look at you.
Here I am.
Well, that's the thing. Back to your point about going out of your comfort zone, man. You never know what you might like.
It's on autopilot, I guess. So.
Oh my God, man. I was going to say you might be in the perfect career, based on what you were saying, where everything's no 2 days are the same.
Yeah.
And you get to impact people and help people. I think real estate agent is a perfect example of that.
Yeah. But then I also when I can predict things and things are the same. So it's like this
push and
friction
pull,
where
the devil and the angel.
I wish this was consistent. Or oh man, this is too consistent. But yeah, I do have the freedom to kind of make it,
what you wanted.
Yeah, I can go do random things.
Yeah.
I can go run lock boxes, or I can go show for somebody, or do some odd job. I can do that real estate related item, and I actually have an idea around this, but I could do whatever real estate related task and still feel like I'm helping somebody.
Yeah.
My comps so I'll get door fees, so people pay me. And I could just switch it up, and I have that freedom. Freedom and flexibility became very important to me when I came from a lot of structure. So
You get sick of that?
yeah,
I can relate, my friend.
yeah.
Yeah. I went from the corporate world to this, so...
Oh,
if you talked to me a couple years ago, I'd be wearing a uniform right now and everything. Can you imagine? I mean, come on.
I feel like you look pretty sharp.
Appreciate that, man. But I was losing my mind a
You
little
gotta
bit.
rock a bow tie though.
A bow tie?
Yeah, I feel like you could rock a bow tie.
It was more like polos and that sort of thing. So.
No, you can go all out, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
All out, Paulie G.
Might have to get myself in the market for a bow tie then, huh?
Damn right.
Yeah.
Maybe 50. We should get 54 Realty We should get 54 Realty bow ties and actual ties. Get it,
Joe? You heard that, man. All right, Raymond. This has all been good, man. We are almost an hour right now. I don't know if
hot damn.
how much of that was off camera, but
remember when I said before this, like I'm not gonna say anything.
yeah.
Like, I was just,
I'm sitting here watching you, like, what was he so worried about? Yeah. So the last thing, man, how we end every episode, which is, if you could speak directly to the new agents or agents who might be struggling out there, give them some advice. What would your advice be?
don't give up. If you need help with anything, let me know. I will help you as best I can. I know I'm new, but I probably have more knowledge than you just because you're just starting. Right. But there's still stuff that you know that I don't know. But I'm always willing to help. Believe in yourself because you got it. Like if I can do it, you can do it. I promise you that. If someone like me can make things happen, I know for a fact you can make things happen. So just hit the ground running. Don't expect it to be perfect, and just like try to find the humor in everything. Just laugh it off. Talk with other agents. If you want to just joke about it, go ahead. But you can do it. It's possible. Just wait. It'll all pay off. And if you need help, I'm here for you. If you're on a team, you have your team leaders. They're there for you. I promise you, they're there for you. You have help, so you are not alone in anything that you're doing. And what I say stands for anything personal or professional. If you ever need to speak to somebody, I'm here.
Mic drop.
That's it. Yeah.
Jeez. I was laughing because I was picturing what I'm going to do in the edit as you were giving that right there. So anyway, Raymond, that's good advice, man. Stick it out.
Thank you.
I feel bad because I've been forgetting to do this on previous episodes, but if the people out there do want to contact you, buying, selling, or whatever it might be, how can they reach you?
You can reach me at my phone number, 727-400-5448. And my email, Raymond, Raymond, at 54realty.com. Instagram at Raymond.the.realtor. I lost my name, so I'm kind of pissed about that, but that's why I'm out on Instagram. Or Facebook, Raymond Matos. Look for my photo. I'm all smiley and in a suit. So, yeah, I'm the only one. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. Or you can call here and be patched through to somebody. You can slide into the DMs. I have a TikTok, but really nothing on it. Oh, LinkedIn. That's another one. Just Raymond Matos on LinkedIn. Same picture. But, yeah, that's how you can find me. And I'd be happy to speak with anybody.
And don't forget Pigeon Courier.
Pigeon, yep. Bat signal. If you scream randomly, I might come by.
I might hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Message.
A phone is easier. That's preferred, but however you want to Slack, you want to talk to me on Slack, go ahead. I'm flexible.
He's available, is what he's trying to say.
I'm available. Yeah.
Raymond, I appreciate you, man. This has been great. I appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
You know it, boss. All you folks out there, you know where to find us. Instagram, Facebook, at The Real Estate Playbook. Drop a like, drop a follow. Something I've been meaning to say, and I forgot to say it on last week's episode, we're on TikTok now. At The Real Estate Playbook there as well. What else? Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. If you want to be on the show like Raymond, all you got to do is ask, guys. Drop a comment, send us a message, email me at paul.goldman@54realty.com. And love yourself. I think that's what we're going for today.
Stay beautiful.
Stay beautiful. See you next week.